Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Network 216 exclusive. I am your host, Tyler Johnson. You can give me a follow on Twitter at T_Johnson_TJ. Today, we are going to have a very special Network 216 exclusive, a Path to the Draft episode. Before we get to our guest today, if you guys would take a second and please drop a like on today's video, help that YouTube algorithm grow once you do that, and help Network 216 grow. But also, please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new to Network 216. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest for today's Path to the Draft episode, Mr. Anthony Kendall out of Baldwin, Wallace. Anthony, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, Mr. Tyler. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. I appreciate you joining. Very pumped about this. Anthony, I want to get right down to it. You are taking a very different path from a lot of NFL prospects. You are coming from a Division III school, Baldwin Wallace, which is awesome to see because I obviously live in Ohio myself. It's awesome to see local kids making it their way to the NFL. Talk about what this journey has been like for you, coming from Division III and being very close to playing NFL football.
Man, it's been special. Going D3 wasn't really ideal, but Baldwin Wallace took a chance on me, and I made the most of that opportunity. Shout out to Coach Hilbert and the BW football team. It was a home away from home, being a kid from Florida. It was quite the trip and quite the transition, but it was a good time, and I knew that wherever I went, I would try to make the most of the opportunity, and I'm here right now, and I'm just blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about your journey to Baldwin Wallace. I mean, you're coming from Florida. How does a kid from Florida find his way to Ohio, a Division III school in Ohio? Talk about that journey.
Yeah, man. So in Florida, we don't really have too many D3s. I wasn't getting a lot of looks, D1, D2. And so I had to venture out and search around. Coach O actually recruited me down in Florida. He came on a visit and checked me and my one of my teammates out. And so we took a visit, saw the campus, saw the teammates, and it felt like a place that we could call a home away from home. And so we just went with it, man. I just wanted to play football, and so they wanted me, and so I wanted to play there.
I love it. I mean, your stats at Baldwin Wallace were seriously fantastic. I mean, this year you had 56 tackles, 12 pass breakups, 4 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble in 10 games. For your career, 127 tackles, 10 for loss, 20 pass breakups, 6 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and 1 sack. So coming to Baldwin Wallace again, how did you make that transition from high school going to that Division III level? Because again, that's quite a transition, especially playing football in Florida to then moving to a climate like Ohio. We see college players all the time, especially at the quarterback position. They're always asked about that transition, going from that warm weather environment to that cold weather environment. What was that like for you?
Man, it was different. I would say the first winter was definitely shocking. It felt like a movie. But as far as the football side goes, it was just football, man. The biggest transition was just that playbook, getting down the coverages and that time management between college, schoolwork, football, and working. I'd say that was the biggest transition. But at the end of the day, it was just football, and it's what I love to do. So I just went out there and did it.
Yeah. And so one thing I want to bring up, just overall here, your RAS score is very impressive. So for those who don't know, your RAS score is an 8.11, which ranks 419th total out of over 2,000 cornerbacks from 1987 to 2023. Talk about really what it's like, the journey is like for a prospect at your level, at that Division III level. Talk about like some of the interview process a little bit, the workout process, just what that's been like for you.
Yeah, so coming from D3, we don't really have that, that grade A level training. We don't really have some of the equipment that D1 schools may get. And so a lot of our time working out and grinding really comes on our own time. And so that the off seasons was really gritty. I'd say that, we did have summer workout programs, but, trying to get it to the next level, I would say took a lot of two-a-days and a lot of extra work off the field, and doing those little things that your teammates or opponents were probably not doing. And so that definitely, I took a lot of pride in just, focusing on my craft outside of what we were doing on the field. And as well as just just taking it day by day, trusting my ability, training so I'm confident enough to go out there and perform. Come to pro day at Toledo, when those numbers are represented. I was real confident in what I was able to do. I was training with Coach Coleman and sports game speed performance academy over in Solon, and he helped me out a lot get ready for those pro days and put up those numbers. Man, I'm just glad I was able to do that.
Yeah, and again, you're coming from that D3 level. It's I continue to bring it up, but it's just really impressive because there are not many prospects that from that level that historically make it to the NFL. And you're talking to NFL teams, and let's say I'm an NFL general manager. What is an NFL player getting in Anthony Kendall?
He's getting a hard worker, somebody who's going to go out there and make plays, somebody they can trust to put on special teams, go out there and make plays, and somebody who's going to add value to the organization. I'm a guy who can play ball on the field as well as just a high character guy off the field. Giving back to the community is one of my goals, and I'm gonna bring that light, to the locker room, leadership styles, and just all around person, man. I'm gonna be a great investment, to say the least.
And what is the one thing about your game as you're trying to transition to that NFL level that you are? I mean, you're obviously working every day to improve every single aspect of your game, but what's that one thing in your game that you are trying to take to the next level before you get to the NFL?
Man, I'm trying to take my tackling ability obviously to the next level, but I also want to capitalize off my PBUs and make those into turnovers. Man, I have 12 PBUs. If only I can make those into 12 interceptions, that would be amazing. So I'm working on my ball skills, working on getting in and out of my breaks, and just focusing more so on my tackling. I'm a great tackler. And so just those three things around, man, I think that I'll be taking to the next level.
And I have to ask this because we do cover the Cleveland Browns here at Network 216. I have to ask, have you met with the Cleveland Browns? Were they at your pro day? Were they at watching you work out? Have you had any contact with the Browns?
Yeah, so I met with the Browns at Toledo, Ashland, as well as Youngstown State. Spoke with them. Ashland University, that pro day was actually a one-on-one sit down. Got to sit in the office, talk X's and O's, and just talk more about my background and how they can help me as an organization. So it was real cool. They kept it real transparent, and it was a humbling experience being able to be in the office with them.
That's awesome. And the final question I have to ask you, let's say you do become a Cleveland Brown. Knowing you've played at Baldwin Wallace now, what would it mean to you to be able to play for the Cleveland Browns, knowing that you just played college here in Ohio? What would that be like for you, knowing that you pretty much get to stay home and play football in the NFL?
Man, it would be a blessing, man. It would be a dream come true. It would be cool to be able to be right next door to BW, go ahead and probably catch a couple of games, go see the guys and coaches as well. But I'm open to play for anybody, man. Whoever's willing to give me an opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and make the most of it. But Cleveland Browns definitely would be an amazing team to play for. Yeah,
well, Anthony, really appreciate you taking the time to join me. Guys, be sure to give Anthony a follow on Twitter. You can follow him at ANT_Kendall_3 on Twitter. Be sure to give him a follow. Anthony, we want to wish you the best of luck during this entire draft process. I know that everyone here in Ohio, again, with those Baldwin Wallace roots, we're all rooting for you, especially to join the Cleveland Browns. I will say that. Definitely rooting for you to join the Browns. And if you do end up joining the Browns, I think we're going to have you back on for a celebration show.
Man, I'll be back, man. And thank you for having me, man. I had a good time.
Anytime, Anthony. Thank you so much. And thank everyone that tuned into this Network 216 exclusive. Can't wait to talk to you guys all again soon. And go Browns.